Mitel services at Embrace Cortel Technologies, now known as Blueprint Technologies today, for the visit of Terry Matthews.
This is a really exciting day for us, for Embrace Cortel, for the Blueprint companies. We have some really important, awesome people here today that I want to introduce you to. And before I do that, it's been a year and a half since we all these cameras. It's been a year and a half since since the Blueprint companies had acquired Embrace Technologies and Cortel Business Solutions and Business Systems, and it's just been it's been an awesome year of changes. There's been a lot of new people that have come on board. There's been some people that have exited. There's been a lot of promotions that have went on, and it's just been for me a very honoring year and a half, and I'm really proud that we're all sitting here today. One of the things that has happened over the past few weeks, I reunited with Jack Stoddard that I had worked with, I guess it's over 30 years ago. And we had a drink up at Bryant Park, and he picks up his phone and makes a phone call and says, "Here, I want to speak to somebody." And Terry was on the other end. And Terry, he said, "This is Terry Matthews." And I'm like, "Really?" And so we started talking. He said, "I'd love to come down and visit your company. I hear you guys are doing great things." And from then it just happened. We started planning this, and Jack and I had met several times. And last night we actually had dinner with Pete Matson. Pete Matson in the back is the president and CEO of Wesley Clover, and I'll explain a little bit more about that. And we started talking about the industry because guys of our age, we've been doing this for a long time. We started talking about since the beginning, and since the beginning, there was so many different things that happened. Telecom has grown so much, and there's been so many different applications and features and things that have come out during the last 30 years. And what I realized during our conversation is, the internet is here today, and we just kind of figured out how to use it. People didn't really have a lot of bandwidth years ago, so QoS was really important. Applications weren't as rich, anywhere near as rich as they are today. And today, most of you have 15 megs sitting on your cable modem in your house or your Fios or whatever you're using, and bandwidth is really plentiful. So what's happened is the industry has really changed. All these applications have come out. Virtualization is becoming huge, or is huge. Mitel's partnership with VMware is very prevalent. And what I realized while we were talking about the business is that this is really the beginning. This is really the beginning of a whole new era of Terry. I don't know if all of you know who Terry Matthews is, but he has successfully started and grown 66 organizations. In 19...
Actually 91, but 66.
That's close.
Well, 66 plus, and I knew I was not going to do a good job.
Well, 66 is close.
Jack, do you have a contacts with employment agencies? In 1972, before launching Newbridge, he founded the Mitel Corporation. He's the founder of the Mitel Corporation. In 1986, he developed the Newbridge Systems, which became a worldwide leader in the data industry. It became a multi-billion-dollar organization. He's chairman of Wesley Clover, which is a host of companies. Most of the companies are under that umbrella. He serves on the board, on a number of boards, of the Wesley Clover companies, and in addition to organizations that he doesn't own. In 1985, British Telecom purchased a controlling interest of Mitel, and since then, in 2001, Terry had purchased Mitel Worldwide Communications Division and owns the name, so he is the chairman of the board of Mitel. Among his many accomplishments, he has multiple PhDs and engineering degrees, and was even knighted by the Queen of England. He owns world-class resorts and golf courses, and last year he even had an incredible accomplishment of hosting the Ryder Cup Open at the Celtic
Kelly Manor, yeah.
At the Kelly Manor in Wales. It's obviously a busy schedule that Terry has, and he's found it of great importance to take out his time and fly down to New York to address us at Lutheran. He's undisputably, to me, and certainly to many, the most successful entrepreneur, visionary, developer, and leader in our entire industry. And it's my pleasure and extreme honor to introduce to you Sir Terry.
That was a great introduction. Thank you.
I'll get the right number.
It's a pleasure to come here and meet some people I've known in the past. And it's true, I mean, the comments that were made, we have a massively changing industry. But from somebody who's an engineer and a developer of whether it's technology or companies, it's almost like a treasure chest. Every company you deal with in every country, whatever the vertical, whether it's hospitality, education, healthcare, transportation, government departments, I mean, they're all changing. Well, it's when this changes that you get more advantage with good technology to take out someone that might not have the new technology. If there's no changes, the embedded people can't be taken out because they are there, they've been there forever, it's when this changes. There are more changes going on than I've ever seen. I'll tell you what those little tricks were. $4,000. I didn't draw a salary. I asked Mike Copeland to join me. He didn't draw a salary. It was $4,000. Can't pay salaries. So we managed to survive for 6 months and came out with our first product. Actually, it was 5 months, not 6 months. How can you come out with a new product and do well after 5 months? Like, that's an incredibly short space of time. So this is where the little tricks come involved. You talk to clients first. Too many startup companies, they say, I've got an idea for a new product. I'm going to work very hard with my idea, with a group of people that I work with, and I'm going to come up with that $1 a share stock options. 10 years later, every $1 is worth $2.5 million. I mean, just think about the following: Apple. This is the most valuable company on the planet that we're talking about. 10 years ago, the Commerce Department had to ask Microsoft to give them cash to bail them out. That's not that long ago, as a matter of fact. And Jobs was out. And who did they have then? They had John Scott, right? From Pepsi came in because he was financially a very, very smart business guy. But frankly, like, he wasn't doing that well. Jobs came back and up it came. So different times for different people. Right now, these changes are actually very much in our favor. Every client is looking for something that they didn't have before. So go for it. I'd like to come back again in 6 months and just have a little back and forth. Just see what you're finding in New York. Because this is a great city.
Yep.
Best business city in this little interaction. I mean, I have the sensibility of a piece of concrete and can ask anything. If it's personal, I'll probably not answer it, but if it's business, I'm quite happy to talk about it. And I'm happy to come back. I would think like 6 months out might go that good, you know, to just sit down with, maybe with a couple of other people that would like to engage with you and tell you what's going on. And get feedback from you and say, how can we help you win? Because at the end of the day, that makes a good partnership. So I'll have to say
Thank you.